evening. This is Patrick, and I'm going to be your host for tonight for Broadway Pictures Entertainment Spotlight Show. Tonight we have a great artist on the spotlight. This is a show for artists, performers, actors, filmmakers, you name it. But tonight we are very lucky to have Olga with us. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Patrick.
We are so happy that you could make it. So how do you feel about being on the spotlight tonight?
This is incredible. It's very exciting. I met Patrick at one of my concerts, and right away I was impressed with his personality and this excitement and positive outlook. So I'm very excited to be with Patrick on this new show.
Yes, and we have to remind the audience the spotlight is on you tonight. So we're going to talk more about Olga. So tell me, you are a singer. How did you get started in this industry?
Oh, it was a very long and a road full of obstacles, to tell you the truth, because I never envisioned myself as an actress or singer. When I was little, of course, I dreamt about it, just like any little girl. I always dreamt about being on stage, in a movie, but my parents and my surrounding, my environment, they basically tried to make sure that I was not going to become an entertainer or in this industry. So I studied serious stuff. I went to Middlebury College in Vermont, and my major was international politics and economics.
Oh, wow.
And then I studied in Paris at l'Institut des Sciences Politiques, which is Grande École, where all of the presidents of France and their politicians studied. However, my passion for singing, for acting, for piano, I was a pianist as well, and my studies were always together. And then finally, I had an opportunity to choose. And the choice came from my soon-to-be husband, my fiancé. He sat down with a teacher at Middlebury College, and the teacher said, you know, Olga has talent. She has potential to become somebody in this industry. Right now is the time to decide, will you give her a chance? Because, you know, artists, they need more time than, let's say, when you graduate from college and you become a doctor or a lawyer, there is a certain path, right, that you go through. You go, you get jobs, you get internships, and much of the time these are paid internships. You get a job. As an artist, especially as a singer, when you graduate from college, this is only the first step. You still need to keep going and going in developing your art, in developing your talent, and the voice. The voice actually takes a long time to develop, especially operatic voice. So the development means finances, right? You're still continuing school, you're still continuing to take free opportunities so that you discover who you are, and also to develop your experience as an artist and as a singer. You really, really need that experience. And most of the time, these experiences are not paid. So you have to be able to support yourself, whether you are getting a job on the side or you have support system. And so I was very blessed that my fiancé at the time, he gave me that opportunity, and he was already earning a living. He was and still is a lawyer. So I was able to just dive into all the preparation, all the young artist programs, all the concerts and travel, and hone my art and develop my voice.
Wow, this is amazing. It's been a journey for you to get where you are today.
It still is.
Yes. So, have you worked on any recording that you have been published, or is it just stage performances?
Mostly it's been stage performances. There have been live CDs and live videos made of my live performances. And then, of course, last year, with the pandemic, all of a sudden, all of the singers and artists, they're turning into filmmakers.
I know. Everybody's on Zoom and
everybody's on Zoom, and my show that I produce annually became a virtual show for that 1 year, musical cafe Italian style. And I can tell you that this is such a difficult way to produce. So I have a lot of respect for what you do. There's so much attention to detail, so many people involved in this show, in a production of a show that goes online, because people have different expectations. When people come to a live performance, of course, they are expecting something, very personable and an exciting opportunity, exciting artist, exciting experience to happen, and if they get that, if they receive an impartation of some kind of beautiful sound coupled with personality and stage charisma, it's all tangible. You can feel it, you can sense that. They are happy. The audience is happy. Of course, they have expectations for you to be a great performer, that your voice has to be nearly perfect. But what makes the live performance really great is that something different about it. The live aspect, the experience.
So, how do you measure the audience reaction? I mean, how did you feel? I mean, they see you on the screen performing live. So, did they write back to you, write comments? How do you know?
You see the reaction right there. You see the eyes of your audience. You see them clapping with enthusiasm, screaming, expressing their support. And that is very important for live artists. But when you go virtual, right, that aspect is missing. You feel at times like you are speaking and performing into a void space. Of course, it's not void, but you do get response, of course. So the virtual program that I did last year was very popular. When we aired, and it aired live, so everything that was happening live. I was hosting the show, although the performances were pre-recorded, because at that time, live streaming, unless you are part of CNN network, really you cannot have the highest quality of singing and music, and you could not also have a lot of people together, so you could not have an orchestra together in one place, right, because of pandemic situation. So we had to do all the pre-recorded, so the production time was much longer for that one live performance because of all the videos that we had to combine and produce. But thankfully now we have the project on YouTube, so people can still access it. So when the event was happening, it was happening live, people were commenting. And we had a person on the set who was monitoring all the comments, and we were actually talking to audiences through Zoom. So that was rewarding.
I saw you on the stage performing last Sunday, and you were just amazing. I said, oh my God, I need to have her on the show. How did you feel about performing for a live audience? I know you had the streaming experience, virtual, but now it seems like things are opening up a little bit. So, that's a different type of feedback you get directly from the audience.
There is nothing that compares to a live performance. I absolutely love being on stage. I love seeing my audiences. These are people who came there to support the artists. So you feel the energy, you feel the love that emanates from the audience to the stage. And because of all the energy that keeps coming, you are more spontaneous. You create on the spot.
What's the biggest challenge you would say you are facing in this industry as a singer?
Oh, that's a loaded question. There's a lot of challenges. That is why teachers, voice teachers, when they teach you, a lot of them tell you, don't go into this business unless there is nothing else that you can imagine yourself doing. You have to have the passion. So, I am originally from Ukraine. I was born, it was still Soviet Union, but I'm not going to tell you how old I am. And the Soviet Union, of course, had a lot of, disadvantages to its political system. But the great thing about that country was its support of the arts. It was a normal thing that the artists were subsidized, so big organizations like the opera houses, every single town, no matter how small, and of course all the biggest cities in the Soviet Union, they had their own opera house that was subsidized by the government. You don't have an opera house in Boston, and Boston is one of the biggest cities, one of the most cultural cities. That is very surprising. We do have our main Boston opera, which is Boston Lyric Opera, but they don't have a home.
I see.
So it is devastating for the industry. So what I'm saying is, being an artist in the United States has its own advantages and disadvantages. It's basically you're on your own financially, and especially if you have an organization. You need to be very proactive in securing grants and fundraising, mostly from the private sector. So that is something that is a challenge for the artists and for the arts organizations in the United States, is that they don't have the government to fall back on. If, for example, some of your grants or your fundraising capabilities, if they were not up to par, for example, in any given year, if you were subsidized by the government, you would not be concerned about that. You just have your steady support. So that is one of the biggest challenges, is the financial one.
In terms of support from close one, family, friends, your fan, do you get a lot of support? Do you feel like you get to some breaking points where you want to stop performing or keep going because of the support you've been receiving? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I've been blessed because my husband, he's always supported me. He really respects and admires what I do, and that really makes me feel that I'm on the right path. So thank you to my husband, Christian, whom I love dearly. And so my family, of course, my father, he was at the cafe you were at. He was doing all of the things at the background. He was moving chairs, setting up, very active. And now my sons, I have two sons. I have a 15-year-old and a 7-year-old, and my 7-year-old already knows how to be a box office representative, and of course my 15-year-old is a very experienced young man as a front of the house manager, and a videographer and photographer. He knows what angles I prefer.
I worked with him a little bit yesterday, so that was cool. I really enjoy meeting him.
So I am blessed. So and my friends, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of great colleagues. So I have I would say, a great support system that allows me to continue with my passion and also to give people the opportunity to express themselves in their artistic way.
All right. Thank you, Olga. We're going to take a break. Don't forget you are watching BPE Spotlight. We have on the Spotlight tonight a wonderful performer, singer with us tonight, Olga Lisovskaya. Our movie Go Chase Yourself is coming out soon. You're going to see the trailer in this break that we're going to take.
Rob, with your record, if you get caught, you'll get a life sentence for sure.
You have to come to the station with me.
What?
You would need witnesses as well.
Here we go. I'm on my way to meet up with the love of my life.
I think you should come home now, Maria. And anyways, you know how I feel about this whole trip.
What is it doing?
And all I keep getting from you is that you're not happy and that you just keep trying to change me.
Walk away from me and tell me that that's what you want. Finish this conversation, Rob. I'm trying to talk to you. You keep running away from me.
Money, come on, the fight, whatever, it's gonna bring us all down. And I'm not ready to go to jail.
Happening again.
What's happening again?
Mom, it was so scary.
It was an announcement.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our show. We're going to continue here with Olga Lisovskaya. How do you feel about what's going on in the world right now as an artist? What would be your advice or suggestion for people who are trying to get in this industry today?
Well, I'm hoping that the pandemic that we find ourselves in, it's going to pass very soon, and hoping to return back to normal, because for the artists right now, it's not a normal. Especially for live performing artists, it's a very challenging time. And last year, when all of my performances were canceled, I had a lot of plans, with lots of different orchestras and organizations, and of course my International Music Festival at Carnegie Hall, which is an annual organization, an annual event. It was canceled, and I haven't been to Carnegie Hall in over a year now, and it's very sad. This was produced by Talents of the World, an international concert organization whose president is David Vinyanidze. And we're hoping that next year we'll be bringing live audiences back to Carnegie Hall. However, when you're an artist, and this is the advice I'd like to give you, you really need to be a flexible person. You need to be pursuing your passion, but at the same time, don't give up if something is not going right. There's a lot of ups and downs in an artist's career, some very full and fulfilling periods of time and some times of dryness and desert. However, if you have the burning passion inside of you to be an artist, because that's who you are, not because you want to be a star or because you want fame, but because that's just part of your nature. God gave you a gift, God gave you a voice. In my instance, it's an operatic voice. And that's what keeps me going, that's what keeps me, keeps joy in my life. And whenever there are these periods of dryness and adversity, I recommend persevering, keep pushing on, keep your passion, and ask for support. Look to your family, look to your friends, because that's what happened to me this last year. As I said, all the performances were canceled, and even though I did the virtual part, It was very difficult. It takes a lot of time, and I'm not a trained filmmaker or producer. I'm a singer. But that was a fun and very rewarding project. And then I met up with one of the old friends of mine that we met basically 10 years ago, Natasha. Yes, and she had this group, Europeans in Boston, for 15 years or so.
That's how I met her, by the way.
Exactly, and I met her also through that group. She invited me to perform for the ambassadors of Ukraine and Lithuania, and we became really good friends, and always were talking about, so someday we'll create a cultural center, someday we'll collaborate. And she was super busy with her real estate. I was very busy with my career. And last year, because of the pandemic and change in the circumstances in my life and in her life, we started meeting up more frequently, and we had an idea of creating a project together, and then that project grew into a bigger idea. So what we did was take Europeans in Boston, which by now has 20,000 members, and we shifted to a Sky International Center, which is a platform for internationals to come together in business, social, and culture. So I'm still continuing with my culture and singing, but I switched my direction a little bit during the pandemic to fill the void, and something new and exciting came out. I'm very excited to be working with Natasha and on this amazing project where I meet people like you and people like Enoch Woodhouse, who is the Tuskegee Airman, and people, graduates of Harvard University, who are very successful, educated people. So what I'm saying is, when the adversity comes, really do not just stop and complain and give up. Push through, and something even greater will come out.
Okay, now, as an artist, I know you've been doing this for over 2 decades now. Been a long time.
Yes.
So, as we are heading towards post-pandemic, hopefully we will get there soon. The sooner the better. What would be the achievement that, make you feel complete? Like, what is your dream goal at this point? What's the highest peak for you in this industry?
It always changes. I remember in my younger days, my peak would be Metropolitan Opera, which I never achieved for many reasons. Not because I'm not good enough, but because it is a different career. You have to be traveling a lot, you have to be performing a lot away from your family, and it's a choice that every artist needs to make for themselves. I have family, I have children. I chose to become like a local diva, so to say. So because my goals are ever changing, now with Natasha, my goal would be to have a beautiful physical space for culture in the Boston area. My dream is to have a real performance venue, gorgeous, just like what it should be, like big stage, orchestra pit, lots of different rooms for different kinds of artists, because one of my projects that is very close to and dear to my heart is the musical cafe, which encompasses all different genres, from musicians and of course singers, to dancers, to fashion, to culinary arts, and that's what people enjoy a lot these days because it gives them such a rounded experience. So I would say yes, having my own space where I could produce and be free, and let my creativity be totally free and unburdened by all of the difficulties and obstacles.
Thank you for being part of the show. We are so honored to have you as a guest.
Thank you, Patrick.
We are so happy that you could make it. Don't forget to check out the show weekly. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get updates about everything we have coming up from time to time.